Hey everyone, it's December 26th, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with serial killer Randy Woodfield, known as the I-5 killer, who's believed to have murdered between 18 and 44 victims beginning in the late 1970s, and that is him right down there. Born in Salem, Oregon in 1950, Woodfield was the youngest child in a normal middle-class family, with his older sisters going on to become a doctor and a lawyer. He was popular at school, had lots of friends, and was a star on the football team, being one of the best athletes in the area. But as a teen, he began to develop antisocial behaviors, including a habit of exposing himself. After whipping it out in front of a group of teenage girls, he was arrested for indecent exposure, but his football coaches covered it up so he could remain on the team. A football player getting away with abhorrent behavior. Wow, I'm shocked. Woodfield attended Portland State University, where he participated in the evangelical Christian group Campus Crusade for Christ, but still found time to get arrested multiple times for vandalism and public indecency. But he was a gifted athlete, so the Green Bay Packers still drafted him in 1974. Yes, a player with red flags was still drafted. Wow, I'm shocked. He didn't last in the NFL, however, after picking up repeated arrests for indecent exposure before training camp was over, which led the team to drop him. You can only get away with that in the NFL if you're better at football than he was. Living in Portland once again in 1975, his crimes became violent, robbing and sexually assaulting multiple women at knife point, being caught in a sting operation. He confessed and claimed that steroid use has caused a lack of impulse control and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Woodfield served 4 years and was paroled in 1979, upon which he embarked on a 2-year robbery spree, stealing from gas stations, ice cream parlors, and homes up and down the I-5 freeway in the Pacific Northwest. He often sexually assaulted his female victims and eventually began to kill them as well, committing at least 18 murders, but possibly as many as 44. His first confirmed murder was in 1980 when he raped and murdered a former elementary school classmate of his in Portland, beating and stabbing her multiple times in the neck. Woodfield was investigated but refused to answer questions, and detectives couldn't find enough physical evidence to tie him to the murder. A month later, the ex-girlfriend of a friend and her husband were shot to death in their own home, execution style, but not enough evidence was found to hold him for the crime. In addition to the murders, a series of armed robberies and sexual assaults were occurring along the 5 freeway from Washington down to California, with some victims of the I-5 bandit being murdered. Woodfield was a prime suspect, but was good enough at covering his tracks that detectives couldn't arrest him, even as the body count rose. When the lone survivor of an attack that left another woman dead picked him out of a photo lineup in 1981, a search of his home turned up evidence of his having been at the crime scene. Chris Van Dyke, the son of Dick Van Dyke, was the DA of Marion County, Oregon, and he prosecuted the case. Woodfield was convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison plus 90 years. He was only convicted of the one murder, but to avoid the expense of dozens of additional trials, the state was satisfied knowing that he would never be released. While incarcerated, a book about him was released and he sued the author for $12 million for libel, but it failed. DNA evidence has linked him to multiple additional murders, and investigators strongly tie him to at least 18, though he could have killed as many as 44 in all. While in prison, he's been married 3 times and had a MySpace account in 2006, writing on his profile, "I'm Randy, I'm 55. I spend the remainder of my days in prison because I have committed a murder along with many other crimes. I once tried out for the Green Bay Packers. The only reason I didn't make it is because the skills I had to offer they didn't need at the time." Apparently, murderer wasn't a position on the team. Even with O.J. Simpson already in the league, it wasn't until Ray Lewis popularized it that it was added to NFL rosters. I don't think he's on TikTok, but Woodfield remains behind bars in Oregon where he will spend the rest of his life. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone's birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Randy Woodfield, I say, happy birthday, you bastard. Also, check out the sweet haircut on Dave Wanstead, future NFL coach down there.